much. We're going to take 10 or 15 minutes and get the Mustangs up here. Scott King on the bass, Sammy Purcell on the vocals, Maggie Adams on the vocals, Toby Ruckert on guitar. I'm proud to be the father of Sammy Purcell and Tim, and Johnny, help me pipe on the drums.
This is a tomato. Think it's good for you? Think again.
There's one simple trick to controlling your weight.
Cardiothoracic surgeon Stephen Gundry says
You know, it was not too many years ago that we had two 15-year-old girls on stage. It's actually about 5 years ago. But now we've got another 15-year-old girl on the stage. Chase is 15, so there you go.
and we're proud to have it.
We all know someone who brings us joy when we need it most. Through smiles.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection, like an apple hanging from a tree. I picked the ripest one, I still got the seed. You said move on, where do I go?
I'm in Amsterdam, which is without a doubt the cannabis capital of the world, and that's because
Without saying a word, you can light up the dark. Try as I may, I could never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. All day long I can hear people talking out loud. But when you hold me near, you can drown out the crowd. Old Mr. Webster could never define what's being said between your heart and mine. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. That touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. That touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. 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 When you say nothing at all.
Miss
Good
Maggie, go
job.
off to college and leave us Adams on that one.
Get back to dancing. Here we go. Ready? When life is too much, roll with it, baby. That's it. Don't stop and lose your touch. Oh no, baby.
And Johnny, help me pipe on the drum.
I need love to ease my mind. I need to find someone calm mine. But Mama said you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. You gotta trust it. No matter how long it takes, but how many heartaches must I stand before I find love to let me live again? Right now, the only thing that keeps me hanging on when I feel my strength, yeah, it's almost gone. Remember, Mama said, hurry, no, you just have to wait. She said, love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. How long must I wait? How much more can I take before loneliness will cause my heart to break? No, I can't bear to live my life alone. I grow impatient for love to come my own. But when I feel that I can't hold on, when I feel my strength, yeah, it's almost gone. Remember, Mama said, no, you just have to wait. She said, love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. You gotta trust it. No matter how long it takes to wait. No love don't come easy, but I keep on waiting, anticipating for that soft voice to talk to me at night, for those tender arms to hold me tight. I keep waiting, I keep on waiting, but it ain't easy. No, it ain't easy. When Mama said you can't hurry love, no, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love, no, you just have to wait. You gotta trust it. No matter how long it takes to wait.
Thank y'all so much. We're going to take 10 or 15 minutes and get the Mustangs up here. Scott King on the bass, Sammy Purcell on the vocals, Maggie Adams on the vocals, Toby Ruckert on guitar. I'm proud to be the father of Sammy Purcell and Tim, and Johnny, help me pipe on the drums. Let's rock, boys and girls.
Can't seem to get my mind off of you. Back here at home, there's nothing to do. Now that I'm away, wish I'd stay.
Well, heck. That was fun. That was fun. One of my favorite YouTube groups, a cover band called Foxes and Fossils, you can guess why, out of the Atlanta area. And they were a spinoff from a band called the Mustangs that was not with any foxes. So, yeah, there we go. So that was a little fun. So, you know, what I thought, and I'm stealing my own thunder here, but we're going to start just in just a second. What I thought was what the internet needs is another Zoom vMix tutorial. That's what we need, another Zoom vMix tutorial, because nobody else is teaching it right. Hey, Dean. Hey, Dave. Milos, welcome. Clint, Tom, would you sell? Clint, I'll sell you anything you want. X12 joystick. X12 joystick. You mean like this? Ooh, hold it. Let's get it in the picture. X12. Can we make it? Ooh, it's even got buttons on it. Ooh, it's got the 12 buttons. Yes, I'll send it to you. I don't have the jog shuttle, but I can get you one. That's easy. So there we go. Herman is here from Lake Wales. Herman was up in the studio with his daughters and friend, a couple months ago, well, back before the CV. Back before the CV hit. Yeah. Let's see who else is here. Elijah Ministries, welcome. Glad to have you. Rich is here. Kyle is here. Grav Como. Yeah, okay. And Dan is going to be joining us. And Danielle is here. If you would like to join us on the Zoom call, we'd love to have you in on the Zoom call because we're going to be doing it with live people. Yes, Miranda's here. Clint was just asking about your XK12 joystick. Anyway, we'd love to have you on the Zoom call. So come on in. Just go to Facebook and send me a DM. And I'll send you the password and the meeting ID. Ron says there's a tornado in Mobile County. That's just the next county over. Thank you, Ron. We'll keep our head down here. Thomas in Germany, welcome. Glad to have you. John in sunny Scotland. Well, it's thunderstorms here today in Alabama. Yes. Okay, somebody sent me a DM just a minute ago. Very good. Let me get back and reply. Whoops, that's not the right reply. That was a YouTube video. That won't work. That won't work. Let's try this. Yep, come on. Here we go. Cut and paste. It's not that hard, Tom. You do it all the time. Nope, that's not it. Well, poo. You would think I would know how to do something like simple, cut, and paste. There we go. Let's try again. Alan, thank you, sir. Glad to have you. So we got Alan and Ron and Dan have volunteered to be the guinea pigs in the Zoom room. So yeah, just DM me on Facebook, and we'd love to have you, even from Jamaica or Scotland or wherever you want. You do need your video though, and your audio. So there, Gunner's here. Welcome, sir. Love it. Love it. Ian is here from Jamaica. Jim is here from Sacramento. Joel is here from Mumbai. Very good. And Tail, is that T-A-I-L-E, Tali? Tail? I did not do that justice. Anyway, it says it's raining in Sims. That's probably where the tornado is. Is there a limit? No, there's not a limit. The more the merrier. And I mean, the idea is I want some real life people to be on the Zoom end so we can show how everything works when we set it up. Because what the internet needs is another video showing how to connect Zoom and vMix. Yes. So there you go. Otis is here from Houston. How's it out in Houston these days, Otis? Quiet, I hope. All right, Alan is in the waiting room. Holy cow, that dude doesn't mess around. Sorry about that, Alan. Let's see. Let's bring you in. Let's see the waiting room. Oh, yeah, look at all these people in the waiting room. Holy cow. That's great. So we're bringing them in, and we better mute them because there's no telling what they'll be saying. So, well, they are in the proverbial green room, as it were. Hey, Don, got a camera off to you. I'll send you tracking later, not right now. But, and I'm not sure. I didn't notice the ETA. I apologize. But that's all right. Post-show. Is this post-show? No, this is the pre-show. This is the pre-show, Jeff. Come on. Pre-show. This is the pre-show. See where it says pre right there? That's a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. The other part that's a dead giveaway is it's not even 3 o'clock Eastern time yet because that's showtime. Okay. All right. So we've got Ron and Alan in the Zoom room and a bunch of folks waiting in. Well, they're not waiting, they're watching. Let's see. Got a couple, 3 dozen on YouTube. Very good. GAAM, welcome. Glad to have you. Jeff has no time. He's so busy he doesn't even know what time it is. All right. Well, if you want to DM me in Facebook, I'll send you the meeting ID and the password to get you into the Zoom. So that's what it's going to take. Let's go to Tom's home. It's cooler there. Well, actually, you know, it probably is. It's probably only in the 80s today, but it was in the, was it 96 the other day? It was a message. I mean, it was a mess. I'm reading words. Don't you hate that when you read words and then suddenly they come out of your mouth for no good reason? Like dongle. All right. We are moving right along here. Let's cut that. So we are live on, let's just double check. We are, Thomas could join too. Okay. There is meeting ID and password. And I wonder if Zoom says that they are going to let you, can I turn off the waiting room? Yeah, I'm turning off the waiting room. And at some point, they're not going to let you turn off the waiting room anymore, or not have a password or something. Apparently, they're just really. Is this live? Yes, this is live. Are you kidding? Do you think that this weren't live, we could tolerate all these mistakes? But that's just the way it is. Okay, let's see. Something is dinging here. What is dinging at me? All right. Very good. Amanula is going to join us in Facebook, in the chat. I mean, in the Zoom room. So let's see what's going on with Zoom. I probably ought to, I'm going to mute myself in the Zoom. So Ron and Alan, if you guys want to chat amongst yourselves, I've got the audio on this end cut off. Oh, but you can't hear me. Ron and Alan, if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves, Ron Allen is up in, is it Connecticut, Alan? I never can remember what part of the country you're in. Ron is down here where I am. He's across the bay in Mobile, although sometimes he's across my side of the bay in Daphne. All right, so I'm going to mute my guys. Y'all introduce yourselves, and let's see if we can get the rest of this right. Tommy Willett says, I've tried your methods before and Tim's method, and nothing worked. Went to a laptop and NDI to vMix and works great. Zoom, that is. Well, there you go. There you go. Alan says, I'm hoping to figure out why the audio is low and scratchy. All right. Well, there you go. And I see Thomas has joined Thomas has joined in Zoom. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Introduce yourself to Ron and Alan, and I'll mute myself back again. There we go. And Dave Edwards says, Tom, do you have any SDI USB 3 units? Do you need 3? Like this? No, these are HDMIs. But I got a closet full of them. I have cornered the market on the Magewell USB capture HDMI Gen 2. So if you need them, I have them right here, ready to ship. Don't do the SDIs. I just have them in churches, and a lot of sports for that matter. Folks that are just getting started are using common cameras, which is your HDMI cameras. All right, so let's, comment from Jeff. I'd be happy to pay for a version of Zoom that implements NDI like Skype does. That's coming, supposedly. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, well, let's get this show on the road. Those of you that are watching in Zoom, let me turn my mic. For you guys in Zoom, I don't know if y'all can hear the show or if Zoom is your only source of audio, but I can't hear you at this point because I'm not supposed to be able to hear you, because we're going to pretend like I don't have you connected to vMix, but we'll do that in just a second. So I'm going to mute myself here, and we'll get back to the start of the show. We'll get rid of that. And so what are we going to do here? Oh, Jeff's talking again. Speaking of HDMI capture, AJ released an update to the UTAP line. Okay, well, good. That's good to know. Thank you, Jeff. All right, let's get a show going here, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, I just realized my set is got a little flaw over here. So my apologies to all of you guys that are really picky. And look at this, you can even see my mic. Let's move that out of the way. Obviously, I didn't prepare everything in advance. We've got some new gear here, and apparently we didn't put it in as well as we thought. Welcome to Streaming Idiots. I'm Tom Sinclair. You have arrived at the end of the internet. Any further and you just fall off the edge into oblivion, apparently. But we're certainly glad you're here. We actually have a number of folks that have joined us off camera in Zoom, because what the world needs, that's right, catch it right here, right now, what the world needs is another tutorial on how to use vMix and Zoom. That's right. There are not enough of these out in the world. You've got to have one more. And this is the official Tom's way, the definitive way to connect vMix and Zoom. There is nothing more definitive than this method until the next method comes out. Yes, that's the interesting thing with this stuff. Is that what we're finding is that things are ebbing and flowing, things are advancing, things are changing. And I did a video, probably 3 years ago on how to connect Zoom and vMix. And at that time, it was, it was really cutting edge. Of course, now it's got dust all over it. We don't do it that way anymore. In fact, I got a comment on that video yesterday from somebody that says, this is an old way of doing it. Well, that was an old video you were watching too. Anyway, silliness. The idea that you want to be able to connect these tools together is a good one. And sometimes there are really helpful little handles that allow you to kind of link things together, like a coupler on a train, where things were made to hook up to each other, like Pro Presenter having an NDI output that integrates beautifully into vMix. Well, some of these communication tools, some of these mass market, not really mass market, what's the online conferencing tools, they really expected at least initially, that they would live only in their own environment. And they never anticipated that all of us would want to start hooking them up together. I don't know what or maybe they didn't want anybody to hook them up together. Maybe that's what it is. But Zoom we've got Zoom, we've got what's that other one? Oh yeah, Skype. And then we've got the commercialized version of Skype, which is Microsoft Teams. And then there are probably some others that like GoToMeeting, things like that I'm not as familiar with as I am Zoom and Teams and Skype. But Zoom seems to be the sort of the holdout at making itself available to other software. Skype pretty early on allowed for NDI so that you could take an NDI output from Skype. Microsoft Teams is supposedly implementing that pretty quickly. And Zoom has sort of, I won't even say halfway, maybe a third of the way implemented an NDI connection. So there are a couple of different aspects. If you like just woke up, after being asleep for 12 years and you're wondering what I'm talking about, Zoom is a great online conferencing tool where multiple people in multiple locations can all come together and be on the same screen at the same time and talk amongst themselves. And there are all sorts of other little gadgets, screen shares and whiteboards and things like that allow you to have good meetings together. But once it got out there, it's like, okay, well, what if we could take this meeting of 45 people and live stream it to the internet where everybody could see it without necessarily having to be a participant? So then, people were like, okay, well, let's be able to live stream it. Well, Zoom actually has built into it the ability to live stream to YouTube, but that's, again, only within the Zoom environment. So if you want to control the environment a little bit more, you're going to, oh my God, I just saw a picture of Dan Slider. That'll keep you awake at night. We'll have Dan on in just a second. Dan, you shouldn't do those things. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Very good. Welcome back, Gene. We missed you. Glad to have you. The idea that you can take complete control and take this conference and bring it into a into a vMix environment where you can then add lower thirds, you can play video, you can do all the kinds of things. You can stream multiple places, you can record it, you can do all the things with it that you would want to do with your normal vMix productions. I can't tell you how much time I've spent on the phone in the last 2 months with people that were trying to get all their meetings online, whether they were coming through the cloud. Remember we had that vMix in the cloud episode about 6 or 8 weeks ago. But a lot of folks are just doing it, just tethered to the land. They're not in the cloud anywhere, but they want to bring all the people together. So having worked with a number of them and worked extensively with folks that are doing Teams, I really have found that Zoom is the best meeting tool. I like it the best. Maybe because I know it the best. That's, you always seem to like the things you know the best. Well, I do. Anyway, I tend to be a path of least resistance guy. And once I learn things, I want to sort of stick with the things I know. And I'll add to it, but I want to go back to those standbys. The idea of connecting vMix and Zoom together has got multiple parts. And I'd say at least 6 different parts. And let's kind of line them out right here because I've got enough fingers to do all this. And if I thought about this in advance, I would have had, a little PowerPoint or something I could have put up here, but you're just going to have to, you're just going to have to remember. You've got the video element. So Zoom's got video, and Zoom, we want to get the Zoom video into vMix. And then we may want to send the vMix video back to Zoom. So that's 2 elements right there. Then on the vMix side, we want to talk to Zoom. So that's a second element, third element, second on the vMix side. And then we want to be able to hear from Zoom on the vMix side, and then the same on the Zoom side. So we want to talk and listen, and then share video. So that's 6 different elements that we have to take into consideration when we're joining these two programs together that don't necessarily want to be joined together. Now, I happen to have, and Michael Graves is here. Michael, thank you for even mentioning that. I've got a Zoom Pro account, which means I can stream for, or I can have a meeting that lasts more than 40 minutes. But if you have a Zoom free account, I think you're limited to 30, 40, or 50 minutes, something like that. Let me show you how I am connecting to Zoom. And I've seen it lots of different ways. And in fact, up until yesterday, I was doing it differently than I'm doing it today. So this is today's Tom's way. Today's Tom's way. So let me get into a little screen share here. And I'm going to show you my screen so you can see. And let's go ahead and just put me up there in preview so I can still be part of this and take the lower third off. There we go. Okay, and let's do one more thing with this. Since we're going to do a screen share on this, let's go ahead and sharpen it in case there's any text you need to see. It'll be a little bit more readable with that. All right, so on the vMix side, you notice I am not using the external button down here to share my video with Zoom. That was the previous method. So if you learn that method, you're going to like this method. This method it adds the whole new element of NDI. And so what I'm going to show you is, this is my program list, something called NDI Virtual Input. And as soon as I click it, it disappears and it ends up down here in my sys tray. And there it is right there. If I right click it, I can select my PC. And I can select, in this case, the vMix output. Well, how can I do that? Because I've previously enabled the vMix output over NDI. How did you do that, Tom? Okay, we'll come back to that little piece down there. Paying no attention to the glitchy video. I haven't fixed that since last week or the week before. All right, so we're going to open our settings menu. And let's just put it right up here so it doesn't distract you too much. And we're going to go to the output section. And very simply, this is the Pro version. If you've got the HD version, you probably have one full screen and one or two outputs. But for today's discussion, let's pretend like you just have the one output right here. And that is set to output. That is, it's set to whatever's going out of vMix. And the only two things I've done is, number one, I've turned NDI on right here. And then the second thing is I have gone and assigned the audio to bus G. Aha, bus G. There's a little bit of a clue right there as to what's going on. That's kind of like the way we used to do it. All right. So I've got the audio channel bus G. And I'm going to make sure, let's close that for just a second. I'm going to make sure that any audio that I want to send to Zoom on the vMix side, let's see, like my microphone right here, I'm going to make sure G is enabled. So there's G enabled right there. If I want to send this video, the audio, the fresh and fun audio, I can do that. That'll send it to G. This is, we'll get to this one in just a second, but this one is not G. This is the audio actually coming from Zoom. So what I've done, let's see, can we find that audio input? It's probably way down here at the bottom. Yep, there it is right there. So what we did is we added an input. It was an audio input. Yeah, we'll stop this one and then redo it. There's an audio input, and basically it's just my good old virtual audio cable. In this case, I've got a bunch of them, I know. It's this one, audio output to VB cable. So we'll add that one back, and we should see just a little bit of residual audio on it. Yeah, there we go, right there. So that's the setup on the vMix side. So let's pull in the Zoom window, and we'll put that right over here so you're not distracted by all the motion. And this is the Zoom window that opens up for me after I log into Zoom. And by the way, this method is not for the Zoom browser app. This is for the Zoom Windows app. So you have to download and install Windows on your PC. You have to sign into it, log into it, and then you get to this screen. And so I like to do it right here to go to this little settings icon. That's going to open another menu. It went right over Alan and Thomas. Sorry about that, guys. And there are several things I want to do here. On the video side, I want to set it for NewTek NDI video. And so that was my vMix output enabling NDI that now allows me to send NDI video as a camera source to Zoom. So that's pretty simple. And then on the audio side, the speaker in Zoom, which of course is the input in vMix, is going to be that cable input. Remember, we use number 2. And then the microphone is going to be the audio coming into Zoom from vMix, and that's going to be NDI. So NDI is helping us with half the battle, that is from vMix to Zoom, but at this point, Zoom is not able to output any NDI. So that's the audio and half of the video. The other half of the video, and let's just minimize this for just a second. And let's see, we've got these guys here. So, yeah, there it is. There's a desktop capture right there. So let's go in and we'll redo this desktop capture. Sorry, guys. We're going to lose you for just a second. And so we're going to go to NDI desktop capture in vMix. And yeah, let's just move that window up there so it's out of the way a little bit. Pay no attention to that bald man on the bottom row down there. We're going to go to local desktop capture. We're going to use this Windows capture method down here, Windows graphic capture. And at this point, I've got 2 Zoom meetings. I think it's Zoom meeting number 1. Let's try it and see if I get what I think I get. Do we get a bunch of guys in there, or do I just get a blank screen? Just got a blank screen, so it must not be 1. Let's go ahead and try 2. We'll go back to desktop capture there. Our method, Zoom meeting 2. We're going to get lucky. Yeah, there we go. There's a bunch of guys down there. All right, so we've brought that into vMix, and let's just take those guys up into preview for a second. In fact, let's just go. Let's do this. Let's go back there, and we will go live with that shot, and we'll get them in, and let's see. We're going to unmute them. Unmute. Okay, and then let's bring them in. And so if you guys want to unmute yourselves, and let's test and see if your audio is working. Anybody dare to comment?
I'll be brave.
Alan.
All right. So as I mentioned to you the other day, there are 2 things that are happening. One is that your audio, Tom, is coming in very low. There is in the NDI configuration in vMix a 20 decibel boost that will help tremendously. Secondly, your audio is coming in very scratchy in Zoom. If you were to record in Zoom, you'd hear it. And those of us that have been sitting in the Zoom session are hearing the scratchy audio. I've been having this on all but one of my computers, and I haven't been able to figure out what's causing the scratchy audio. So that right now it's a great technique, but the audio is not nearly as good as it is when you're not using the NDI for the audio.
Alan, you think that's an NDI issue?
I think it's a Zoom NDI issue because I've tried using the virtual input into Studio Monitor and recording, and the recording was good. But if you right now, if you start recording the Zoom session and start listening to the Zoom session later on, you will hear how scratchy your audio is.
Aha. Okay. Well, let's go ahead.
This is the no good deed goes unpunished phenomenon.
Yeah. Interesting. Let me see if I can record it on this end so that we can do that. There we go. All right. So that's Alan, top left, and then top right is Thomas. Thomas is coming to us from, Thomas, unmute yourself. Are you in Germany?
Yeah, absolutely. That's Germany. Beautiful evening in Germany.
Beautiful evening in Germany. Oh, I love it. I love the wall behind you. That's great. Very good.
Wall. You mean my dead, whatever thing it is. It's dying, down there.
Oh, golly. Well, it still looks lovely. Tell us what you're doing in Germany with vMix.
I'm doing a lot of remote productions for the last 3 to 4 months. I have my own OB trailer. I'm doing international things like WRC Rally and Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Usually, but now lockdown and everything is coming in remotely. So I do my productions from here, from a beautiful small city in Germany, with all the international people coming into vMix, discussing their footage and streaming live or recording for, well, international broadcasts.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
But I'm most of the time, I have to say, like 95%, I'm using vMix Call because although all the other stuff exists, like Skype TX, the Pro Skype, let's say, and even Zoom and stuff, most of the people like how easy it is for them to use vMix Call. So, yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right, and then right below that, and let's switch over to this shot for just a second, and let's see if that makes a little bit. There we go. Okay, so right below that is a former professional boxer, apparently, who's now in the World Wrestling Alliance. It's
Are you talking about Ronald? Are you talking about Ronald there?
No, I'm talking about Dastardly Dan. Holy cow, my friend. Welcome, sir. That's what you really look like.
Long time no see.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you said when you looked in the mirror. That's right. Welcome.
Tom, can you go into vMix and turn on the 20 dB boost? Your volume is way low compared to everybody else's in Zoom.
Okay.
And you won't have to restart vMix.
Let's see. This
so
is
he says.
It's an NDI thing?
It's on the cog right next to your NDI output.
On the cog next to my NDI output. All right, so let's go to settings. Let's go to outputs.
Where you turned on the main NDI output.
20 dB
There's a new
boost.
checkbox
How
called
about
20
that?
dB boost.
Did that work it?
Yeah.
Does that help?
Much louder. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Much louder.
All right. There we go. Well, Dan Slider, it's good to see you, my friend. Holy cow. How you been?
Good to be seen. Thanks for the invite. It's been weird being away from everybody.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine.
I was really looking forward to NAB this year because I was going to punk my old pals at PI. The guys from vMix invited me to join them in the booth, and so I was just going to show up with my vMix shirt on and wave. Lost. Never get that opportunity again.
Oh, my God. Well, there's next year. There's next year. You never know. I think you've got star power that will go beyond a couple of years of retirement. I think you're good for that. All right. And next to Dan is Ron. Welcome, Ron. Tell us what you're up to these days. It's good to see you.
A lot of interviews with my new show, The Interview. College coaches, high school coaches, football, basketball, dealing with the pandemic. So tried to get Dan Mullen on and trying to get Les Miles on. I got emails back from the people, but it seems like some of these coaches are on vacation.
I can't imagine. They got football coming up soon, man. They got to get ready. Holy cow.
This is the deal. If we still practicing social distance, I don't think there's going to be any football on a college level or a high school level, because how can you practice social distancing and play a contact sport like that?
What'd they say? 23 players from LSU were tested positive the other day?
Yes, and a lot more. Even high schools are shutting their summer training programs down because kids are contracting the virus.
Huh. They probably ought to just let them all get it and get it over with, you know? Gee whiz.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ron, glad to have you. And Amanullah, have I pronounced your name correctly? Or at least close? Welcome. Glad to have you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, you pronounced it correctly. Thank you very much for inviting me and having me here, and I'm glad to meet these brilliant people today. Good.
Thank you. Where are you from?
I'm now from Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
with you in the show.
Very
Yes,
good.
And we have a beautiful day today.
So we've got a Canadian, a German, an Alabamian, I guess a Michigander, and whatever you call Alan. What do they call?
I moved to the mainland 31 years ago from New York, so I'm in New Jersey now.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So great tip from Alan, and I'll show you what I did in just a second about the mic boost. Alan, did that clear up the glitchiness or help with the crackliness in the audio at all?
Not at all. So, if you don't mind, can I just switch between my virtual audio cable to my NDI output so you can hear the difference?
Please do. Please do.
All right. So right now in Zoom, I am listening to the virtual audio cable that's being fed out of vMix.
Okay.
Now, if I switch over to the Newtek and
there we go.
Can you?
Ooh.
You can hear me. Do you hear the scratchiness?
That's horrible.
1, 2. Thank you. You're sounding maybe not quite as horrible, but pretty horrible.
Thanks, Alan.
Yours was not as bad as his, Tom, but it's getting dropouts very tough for that.
And I tried varying the 48K versus 41.4. I tried all the different compression algorithms. I probably put 15 hours into figuring this thing out. And again, it seems to be the way Zoom is interacting with it. Because if I record it, let me go back to the back to my audio cable. So this is the virtual audio cable coming out of vMix, and I assume it sounds much better.
It does.
Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So I've tried everything I know. I looked online and I saw a couple of things that we're not the only ones that have been reporting this for quite some time, but it doesn't look like anybody's trying to fix it. But yes, it would be great if we could just simply use NDI and go out like this. I haven't tried NDI through my Mevo Start to hear what it sounds like going in through virtual input. So I don't know if it's just virtual input in Zoom or if it's vMix into virtual input in Zoom. That's my next test.
Okay. Well, let me disable some of these features in, well, you can't disable echo cancellation. Does that make any difference on my end in what I just did now? No different whatsoever. Still, basically it sounds like dropped frames then.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what's happening also is I've tried in Zoom. You know, you can go to the advanced in the audio and turn off the echo cancellation and turn on original sound. So when you click on turn on original sound, that should be the cleanest possible sound, but that doesn't seem to do it either.
Huh. Yeah.
So it's nice that I'm not the only one scratching my head on this. I love the company.
And one of you guys now brought in a very deep rumble, which is also glitchy. Like if you really turn up your speakers, you can hear. Oh, now it's there. Now it's gone.
That's a thunderstorm.
No. No,
that's rain on a metal roof.
Ah, yeah, that could be. Okay, maybe. I mean, you are using waves, noise tools, aren't you?
Yes.
Maybe retune them.
Yes.
For your roof.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom, one of the things that's very frustrating about this is that I was doing a wood turning demo about a week ago on one of my computers, the one in the shop, and my virtual audio cable started giving me all sorts of noise in Zoom. So I switched over to NDI, and it worked. So on one and only one of my computers am I getting clean sound. On none of the other computers am I getting clean sound using this approach.
Alan, you have to explain that to us.
Well, no, I explained the symptoms. I haven't figured out what the cure is. But the fact that it is working on one computer
Yes.
is hopeful.
How old is that computer?
3 years.
Okay.
It's got a 1050 in it, and everything else is up to date. I even today on this machine tried reinstalling the NVIDIA drivers. There's no GeForce Experience, and I tried disabling the NVIDIA audio, HD audio, but then lots of things didn't work, so I had to reinstall that.
Right.
But no, I'm hoping, and I'm really glad that you're doing this session today, because maybe someone out there knows what the solution is and can let us all know.
So your experience is that in most cases, the NDI audio is coming out with dropped frames, except one instance and one particular piece of hardware you've got where the NDI is good.
Right. Yeah. You're calling it drop frames. The technical term is crappy audio.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I need to improve my lingo there. Crappy audio. Got it.
I did a
let
3-hour
me make a note of that.
I did a 3-hour webinar about 2 months ago, and none of my people that were listening to it complained about it until I listened to the audio. I said, "Oh my God, where did this scratchiness come from?" And it's not the kind of thing that you can clean up in audio cleaning programs. That it just doesn't work.
Right. You can't replace what's not there. Yeah.
Well, it's like clicky and stuff like that. So it is kind of choppy and clicky and staticky. It's not just missing frames. It's ugly. Mm-hmm. So I don't see you recording at the moment, but if you do record in Zoom, you'll be able to play it back and you'll be able to hear it yourself.
Okay, let's see if I can put in a virtual audio cable without restarting and switch over to that.
I think I got a solution for you. Your wood turner. If you just run a lathe in the background, and then putting a lathe usually adds electrical noise, doesn't? Unless I use like a treadle lathe. Yeah, and then nobody will notice though. That's true. I just turn on my dust collector and then, nobody hears. There's always a solution if you look. Yep.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to try something. See if this is any better. Can you hear me now?
We got no audio from you now.
No audio at all. No audio at all. Okay.
So that is kind of an improvement, but.
Yeah. Well, on this side, it sounds better.
It's much smoother now.
It is. And Thomas, you got a good microphone. I can hear the birds chirping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that too.
Yeah. Alan, on the machine that is working, have you checked if there's any difference in maybe some ASIO drivers installed or not installed to your other stuff? Like maybe you had an older USB device, sound card, whatever on that one that was never on the other ones?
Well, they're both Asus. Well, right now, the one I'm on now is a desktop computer, a Dell desktop. All the rest of my machines are Asus notebook computers. One is got a 2070 card in it. This other one's got a 1050 card in it. Another one's got a 1050 Ti card in it. They're all up to the current drivers, and I haven't figured out what in the world's going on.
And you never used like an external USB audio device, something that could have installed another kind of audio driver?
Well, on that machine, I think I had the VB audio cables, virtual audio cables, and on the other one, I've got the other virtual audio cables, Melnick, I forget the fellow's name. So because on one machine, I wasn't able to get the donationware, the VB audio cable ones, I wasn't able to get that to install at all. Well, no, install, but it wouldn't run. But the other one, the one that you pay for, did work. But it was just weird that on this machine, just before my demo, the audio went to hell. And I said, well, we're using virtual audio cable. So I said, let me try the NDI. And that worked. So I wasn't going to argue with it, considering that I had a whole bunch of people ready to listen to a demo. In the meantime, gentlemen, I have to go because I'm actually hosting another meeting that starts in 5 minutes ago. So I hope that I've got you good and confused, because I don't like being confused alone.
Perfect.
Well, Alan, we're delighted you could come for any part of this.
All right. Well, listen, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will catch up with you. And Dan, I'm just not used to seeing you without the fur. Bye for now.
It's weird for me too, Alan. Good to see you, buddy.
All right. Well, while Alan was chatting, I switched mics. Does that make a difference with you guys? Not at all.
You're still breaking up.
Still breaking up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still glitchy, but this mic is definitely better than the other one. Well, the sound if it's not glitching is better than before, but it's still glitching.
There you go.
Okay. What about now? Is this different, better, or worse?
Still,
that sounds like my
got
eyes
drops.
opened.
Okay.
Not better.
I gotta go too.
All right. Well, you guys have been great. I appreciate your time. It says that this is our Zoom connection is not yet done. Not yet done. All right. Well, there you go, folks. So we're going to let the Zoom guys run off into the sunset, as they were, and we appreciate all of them taking time out of their busy schedules and their backyards and their college interviews and their Toronto views to join us today. So we will keep you in the loop, obviously, as we get into more and more of this, because what we're going to find is that as time goes on, the promise has been from Zoom, and I say promise, that's probably too strong a word. The word from Zoom is that they intend to implement NDI at some point. They have been, as you can imagine, in the current climate, they have been inundated with new users, and with new users comes, excuse me, all sorts of tech support problems that is just simply being overwhelmed. Certainly the same thing that has happened with the vMix guys is that, where they used to have 100 emails in a day, they're probably getting 500 emails in a day. It's a whole different kinds of thing. So new features, adding new features, as Martin Sinclair said in the vMix Fun Time live show last night, that basically all work on the public beta for vMix 24 has just about ground to a halt, just so they can keep up with the load for their existing clients. The folks that have purchased vMix or are using the vMix trial because they think they need that. Sorry, I'm distracted by the UPS truck going by here. And so we would hope that Zoom would implement this. Michael says that his company had a development project with Zoom last year, and it went almost nowhere. I was looking at a Zoom forum last night in prep for this show, and they had talked 2 or 3 years ago about trying to get it implemented, and that in fact they alluded to the fact that if you had enough Zoom licenses, you could get NDI implemented. But I never saw any evidence that really happened. So based on today's experiment with NDI for video and audio into Zoom, we can say the video part was probably a success. I thought my video looked pretty good. But in the future, I will continue to have the virtual audio cable going from vMix to Zoom that will allow me to carry audio that is much nicer, and we'll continue to monitor how things go with Zoom and with NDI, and this is probably on the NDI end. It probably is not limited to Zoom. We can, in fact, I'll try after the show here to see if we can't get some NDI audio into something else and see what it looks like. Yep. Well, good. Well, I think we're going to conclude the conclude the show portion of this show. And we'll be back with the post-show portion of this show in just one moment. And there we go. All right. Thank you for hanging out. And let's see. One thing we were trying to see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So the Zoom is still a work in progress. But I think I'll check around some more on that virtual audio cable. But if that's the case, that means that we have to go back to the old 2 virtual audio cable connection, which, in some ways could be even easier. We'll have to see. Remember, this show, Streaming Idiots, is sponsored by Eastern Shore Broadcasting, and it's just a giant infomercial for Eastern Shore Broadcasting. And I forgot to mention during the course of the show that we have in stock, that's right, the Magewell USB Capture HDMI Gen 2. These are in stock, ready to go, $299 in our store. You also recall last week we had Eric Pratt on the show. I was going to say Joe DeMax, but that was a typo. We had Eric Pratt on the show, and Eric and I talked about the new, well, it's not new, but the encoder from Kiloview that will take an SDI or an NDI input and encode that so that it becomes NDI-HX on your network, or can, through your network and your modem, be SRT feed to a remote PC or a SRT decoder, or can send RTMP to a website, to a CDN. And so that's the Kiloview. The E1 is the SDI, the E2 is the HDMI. Those are arriving. That's why I keep looking out for the UPS truck. They're arriving today or tomorrow, and they are already in our website. So if you're interested in those, if you're interested and want more information, shoot me a note, and we can chat about what they do. I tested one here. It was really cool. The other thing that's interesting about it is that in talking with Eric last week, he did indicate that there was a firmware update for the E1 and the E2 that would allow them to encode to NDI HX2, which uses the same amount of bandwidth, but apparently with a doubling in quality. I'll be interested to see if there's any latency difference. I think perhaps not. HX has, in my experience, has been a little more latency than with full NDI, but I guess that is network dependent as much as anything else. Troy says, "Hi, Tom, hit the thumbs up button." I don't have one, but you have one if you're watching this on YouTube. There you go. Joel says, "You could try display capture with an additional monitor. I use that for our church meetings. This avoids the live control bar of Zoom." There you go. Good point, Joel. Good point. Yeah, we actually had it on a second monitor, but we were still capturing the Zoom window. But we'll have to experiment with that one and see. That I appreciate that comment. Oh goodness, keeping myself awake here. We are Eastern Shore Broadcasting. We design and build PCs for live streaming. That's why we're not in the studio part. We're over in the control part today because our studio part is still kind of overrun with PCs that are in progress. Doesn't mean we don't have time for yours. If you're thinking about a live streaming project and you'd like to have a PC professionally built for you, we specialize in vMix, but we've built them for other softwares as well. We would be happy to do that. We were talking with somebody this morning about just a monster of a machine. It's going to be an 18-core CPU, and we'll have a dozen or so, maybe more NDI inputs and some SDI inputs and all sorts of other crazy things going on inside this beast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, well, I do need to draw this part of this. Well, actually, I need to draw the whole show to a close now, so we can get back to some of those PCs, because we have clients waiting. But I appreciate you guys tuning in today, and I look forward to catching you next week. And what else? Was there something else I wanted to share with you? No, there really wasn't. So there you go. We'll let you go out with a little bit of. We got a little music for these. Have we got some music for these people? I think we do. Okay. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week on Streaming Idiots.